Okay, good. So yeah, the nice thing about Notepad is it's a great tool because I can just come up with the kanji right away. Because admittedly, I'm not the best at writing kanji by hand, but I can read it a lot. And I know if like I'm making an error, like I'm picking the wrong one or something. So I know I can tell. So if you go make this bigger. Make it, I don't know, 24, maybe more. Yeah, that's good. So then it's, oh, that's clear enough? You can see that? Do you want it bigger than that?
It's fine for me.
Okay, so that's the character for sugoi. And do you know what sugoi means? Yeah, it's like, it's kind of like good. Josh, do you know? I'll give an example of how people say it. They're like, sugoi. They usually like, if they're going to say it, it's going to be like in that kind of tone. Sugoi, you know? Sugoku, you know, like I was saying in previous lessons, when you're conjugating an adjective, you use ku sometimes. It'll change the kind of conjugation. You can make it like, sugoku wa nai kedo. I used this before as well. So it's the ku and then the wa. So here it's sugoi. That's like just the adjective as it is, and then you can go the sugoku.
What's the difference?
See what happened? Sugoi is just like you're just saying it. Like it literally means, which I should tell you guys at this point. It literally means amazing, like amazing, you know, not amazing. Like that was coming out there. But, amazing. Okay, and when you say sugoku, it's also amazing, but you're going to conjugate it into something. You're going to do something with that. Usually you're not going to just hear sugoku on its own. It's going to be followed by something. Whereas like sugoi, you can just say it on its own.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
So like if I go sugoku, sugoku, and then you add te right here, like in another lesson, which will be in a future video that I haven't posted yet, or I guess in this video, it'd be in the past, it doesn't matter. But sugoku te, it means it's amazing and you're going to say something else after that. So the te means it's and, basically. That's how it's used. So, sugokute, omoshirokute. You can do this like sort of chain. You can change adjectives this way. You go sugokute, omoshirokute. This we mentioned in a previous one as well. Omoshiroi, omoshiroi. So, omoshirokute. すごくて面白くてよかったよ。よかったよ。So よかった. This is coming from also a previous lesson I taught this yoi, or it basically means e, which means good. よかった. And then this part see is similar to this ka over here is similar to the ku, but it's used for when you're going into the past, and it's followed by this small tsu, which is just like a quiet space, and then ta is always like going to be in the past or somehow related to the past when you have ta at the end, and that's the same for both regular form and for polite form. So there's always a ta at the end when it's in the past. The only difference is, well, when it comes to adjectives, it'll end up being actually, if you want to go in polite, what you do is you actually add a des over here, similar to I've shown you adding des to e in the previous one, but instead I wasn't saying it in the past. I was saying it present or just general tense. So I was like saying eo, like I was saying like eo, or you can say e desio. Right, I was saying that in previous. So the e desio becomes more polite. But with adjectives like this, you wouldn't say idayo, because that's a lot, as I said in previous lessons. Yeah, but you don't say that. You never say idayo. You just say iyo. But let's say we were saying. I'm trying to think of a good example. I don't want to give you two bad examples. Like. I guess yeah, no, that's you can say ida, but it's just not really something you want to. It's not really that good. But you could say kore wa ni. I'll make it a little bit hard, but then I'll explain what it is. Kore wa nihongo no kyoshitsu dayo. Now that's very like this is kind of odd because what I'm saying in the sentence is kind of like a semi-formal thing, and then I'm ending it with dayo, which is not formal at all.
So I can instead that is yo.
Well, da is just like I can get rid of yo
Yo.
and just put da here, and it's just the same thing as des.
Yes.
It's just not. It's not as polite. It's more regular.
Oh.
So it's not like you don't want to be using da with someone you don't know very well. You want to be someone you know well, and probably someone at your level too, not someone older or in a higher rank position than you, because they care more about that, you know, in their traditional. Some traditional things are still preserved there. So here, Nihongo is actually that means Japanese language. Yeah, you know that. And Kyoshitsu means class,
So
classroom. Yeah.
same in Chinese.
Yeah, it's the same in Chinese. That's it's easy. See, you have the advantage with the Chinese characters because you have it in Chinese. Someone that I find who knows English better will probably have advantage with katakana,
Yeah.
right? Kyoshitsu. So I can change. I can interchange this. Is the point I'm trying to make here. Kyoshitsu des. Des becomes polite. Kyoshitsu da is just regular. So kore wa nihongo no kyoshitsu desu. That's just like if you already know it's like a title, it's a statement like that. Or if you don't know yet, I'm telling you about it. Kore wa nihongo no kyoshitsu desu yo. Yeah. Just letting you know. Kyoshitsu desu yo. And if it's like your buddy and they're asking, what is this? Kono kyoshitsu wa nani? Kore wa nani? Kore wa nihongo no kyoshitsu da yo. And your buddy, you're telling your buddy.
So yo is no meaning.
Yo, it means it's like a feeling. It adds a feeling that is saying I'm informing you. I'm telling you. I covered it before as well. So there's some review going on here too. Another way you can use this ku particle or this ku, I guess. I don't want to call it a particle. I call it more of like I don't know, some kind of connector.
A transitionary word?
Yeah,
so
it's like a
the word and or.
Yeah, it's almost like it is kind of like a particle, but it's not used like most particles are kind of like they stand more on like they have more impact on their own, whereas this always needs something after it to be used. Like most particles, you can just use them on their own. Like te ni wo ha, the te you can use on its own in a lot of cases. You know the no, which means of, no. Okay, I'll write those down for now for a second. Te, ni, wo, ha, and then you have no over here. Ones like that. So te is for and, ni is like in, or like it means like you're doing it for this purpose. O means kind of about or you use it when you're using something like, let's say I'm going to eat a sandwich. I guess in that case it would be like the in a sandwich. Yeah. Like it's a really funny, interesting thing. I remember some examples in some early books on learning Japanese, how the meaning completely changes if you change these things. And then the wa is just say this is the main subject, and then there's something similar to wa, which is ga, which is also subject, but it's like secondary or less general, more specific subject, I suppose. Yeah, you can combine them sometimes too, like no ga. Yeah, but you really have to know how to know what you're doing for that. But yeah, and then no on its own is just means that literally means of, like it's like apostrophe almost. It's the same as an apostrophe in English, apostrophe s or something. It's of that thing. So yes, so in here you could have instead of te, it could become wa. Sugoku wa nai kedo. And I showed this before in a previous class. Sugoku wa nai kedo. Here kedo is means but. Yeah, but, but, or however. In regular speech, when you're talking, like there's a longer form of this. You wouldn't write it, but you can say it. It goes. I didn't mention this one last time. It goes. You'll hear it sometimes, like sugoku wa nai keredo, or even sugoku wa nai keredo mo. It's like the longer version of kedo, of but. It stretches out to keredo mo. I think it's kind of to buy time while you're talking, because it's very much used in speech, not so much in writing. Sugoku wa nai keredo mo omoshiroi yo. Omoshiroi yo. That's without the kanji. You could do it with the kanji. Sugoku wa nai kedo omoshiroi yo. Okay. Then if you want to make it polite, you add the des. Omoshiroi desu. Oh, yeah, I guess omoshiroi. No, you wouldn't. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, that's fine. Omoshiroi desu, yo. I mean, usually if you're telling someone, oh, it was fun, it was interesting, it's funny, it's probably going to be more casual conversation. That's probably why that sounds awkward to me. Omoshiroi desu, yo. It's not technically wrong grammatically. It's just I wouldn't hear that very much. You'd probably use instead e if you're using more formal language. You probably wouldn't use omoshiroi. I know that sounds strange because it's just a feeling, but I guess the feelings can sometimes go better with certain levels of politeness. So ii desu yo, like that you might hear, and it might even be a little bit more. I'm not telling you because that's not going from up to the down. You know, if I'm above you in position or understanding and I'm talking down, I'm probably not going to use this polite language. I'm going to use more regular form. But if I'm on the same level and I'm trying to be polite, I'm going to maybe use this, or even if you're above me, for example, I'll use more polite language. You know what I mean? If I'm like a teacher may be polite, or it can interchange with teachers. But so yeah, so ii desu yo.
To say to your boss.
Or ii desu ne in this case. So instead of I'm telling you, it's like it is, isn't it? Ii desu ne. Sugoku wa arai kedo ii desu ne. There's something, a better example. Sorry, it's getting a little bit, it might seem a little tough, but it's not. Yes. Holy, you know a lot of them. Yeah, manzoku. So sugoku wa nai kedo manzoku dekiru ne. This is dekiru here I'm using is regular form, so not polite. If you want to go in polite, it would go like this. It becomes dekimasu. That's it. That was a symbol for yen that popped out. Sugoku wa nai kedo manzoku dekimasu ne. So manzoku means satisfaction.
Yeah.
Satisfaction. There's some old Japanese like samurai type language. Was it? Something like this. It's kind of a old Japanese phrase that people don't actually speak this way today, but it's like, you know, like if you're going to do a period piece and you have like a sort of high level or high position, sort of samurai or something, or old man who is like respected, and he's saying he's satisfied, like he ate a meal just now and he's satisfied. This is yo wa manzoku ja. Yo wa manzoku ja.
What's ja mean?
So in this case, ja is being used like da or des. It's the same concept, and ja is actually still used today. Like you can still use ja. Just the thing to refer to yourself as yo, like this is pretty archaic. Like it's not used anymore really. So that's why it becomes old language. But besides that, you can use still all the rest of it. I'm not sure what character they would use for yo. That's why I didn't write one here. But because I didn't want to get it wrong. But we could look it up. Like I've shown before. You should know this is jisho.org. I don't know if you know it already. But this is really good dictionary for yeah. So yeah. So anyway, it would be one of these eventually. See, yeah. There's a lot for you if you're gonna put a short word like that. It's easier if you're looking up something more specific or more easy to find. But yeah, anyway, I could find it later for that because yeah. So usually there's the two kinds of pronunciation: onyomi and kunyomi. Onyomi is the Chinese derivative, and the kunyomi is just the pure Japanese. Yeah. See, it might even be so archaic it's not even showing up in the dictionary either. But anyway, you might not even have kanji. So anyway, it's yo wa manzoku ja, and ja here is using like des. And I wanted to bring up another adjective, which is erai. Erai, and I want to make sure that this is the right kanji. I'm pretty sure that's the right. Yeah, so as you can see, great, excellent, admirable, remarkable, distinguishing parts of the So really, I mean, that's an okay definition, but it's kind of like saying someone is doing well. Yeah, is great. Is like higher level, or is high level at something. Is authoritative in something, or has some status in something. Is going to be erai. It's often used as a compliment, let's say if a kid is studying really hard on their own time, like you didn't even ask them to study, but they're studying. You're gonna say erai. You're gonna say that this kid is erai. Erai. And it could also literally mean someone of a higher rank, like an official or a boss or.
So it's sugoi.
Sorry?
Sugoi.
Sugoi is amazing. Erai is like, yeah, like higher rank or higher, like is doing the right thing almost, doing what one should be doing, like on their own. Like that's what's considered, good and like a higher. Like that's how it's used in context. Like Erai, like he's doing good things on his own. Like he's impressive. But it's not like literally meaning impressive. It's more like higher rank or something. And last time I showed you one was called umai. Well, there's another way to say that. And there's umai could be used interchangeably between delicious or high skilled. But then there's also jozu, which I think literally uses the exact same character. Yeah, it does. It uses the exact same characters as umai, except there's no e over here. Umai looks like that. Jozu looks like this. There's just no e at the end. There's no e sound, so. Move like that, yeah. So, up and hand, right? So it's literally jozu means like skilled, and in Jozu, they literally only ever use it for like skilled. They don't use it for delicious. Whereas in umai, they'll use it casually. It's not very politely, but very casually, like, you know, more like friends together or something. Umai. But this also means skilled or good at something, right? Umai. And so we can write that down. Right, umai. Or you can, you don't have this, and you have Jozu. And often if you're complimenting someone in Japanese, for certain words, especially ones that are just kanji based like this, you're going to usually put and even for stuff that's not kanji sometimes, but usually with kanji, you're going to add, especially if you're referring to somebody else, especially at the time of compliment, you're probably going to use the o at the beginning. So it's not just jozu in that case, you're going to say o jozu. So I don't even have to say, like, you know, if I want to say you in Japanese, it's anata, right? You can say anata, or you can also like kimi. Sorry, I don't use that word a lot. Like for example, kimi wa umai yo. Umai ne. That's right instead. Kimi wa umai ne. It's like very casual. It's like really, either it's like you saying down to the person. It's like, let's say your superior telling you you're good. Kimi wa umai ne, or at the same level, but it's like kimi is almost like going down a little bit. Or you could say anata wa umai ne, and anata is becoming a little bit more polite now. So it's like umai. This would probably sound more correct. Anata wa umai desu ne.
So anata is the same level. The typical in the same level.
Yeah, anata is just polite. Like, it's polite, but it can also be like I was saying earlier in a previous class. When you go really polite, sometimes it can also be distancing from the person. It can be a little bit cold sometimes. So it depends. And here it's very nice. It's kind of friendly. I don't want to say friendly, but it's kind of respectful here. Anata wa umai desu ne. But let's say we use anata like this. It kind of changes the respectfulness of it, and it becomes more like strong, like bold a little bit. Anata umai na. Anata umai na. It's like I'm telling you that you're good almost. And this na is like ne, except it's usually used by older people or that kind of older attitude, even if you're not that older. But it's that kind of feeling there. But what I was going to say was you don't even need anata in there. Because if you're saying ojozu, it's already assumed that you're talking about someone else. And therefore you don't even have to say anata. And actually in a lot of Japanese sentences, you don't always have to refer to the person if it's understood. You don't have to say watashi all the time. You don't have to say anata all the time if we know what we mean. So if you just say ojozu desu ne, you know, ojozu desu ne, it's saying you're very skilled, basically. With this you know that you're talking about someone else. And if I was like looking at you and said ojozu, then you know I'm saying that you're good at something. You could even have it with yo right here. Ojozu desu yo. I'm telling you that you're good. Like, you might not think that you're good, but you are, you know. Ojozu desu yo. Like, I just saw what you did, and I can confirm that's good. Ojozu desu yo. And sometimes you'll just hear it like that. Ojozu. You know, that also means you're good. You're good at that. You're skilled. Ojozu, like you'll even just hear it like that. Like just straight up. Yeah, cool. So what was that? Yeah, so This is kind of like it's also an adjective, and it also has a similar meaning, which you'll hear in Japanese, and it's a sasuga, sasuga,
Kasuga.
sasuga, sasuga, and that I'm not sure if it comes from the word stab because literally sas means stab, and maybe it's just ga like as in the particle for emphasis or whatever, but. Who knows how it developed? But anyway, sasuga is like saying, "Oh, that's very like you," and it's a positive. It means it's in a positive way, like, "Oh, that's what I expected from you. Who can do such good things." It's basically the connotation. So let's say Josh, you're coming here every single Japanese class you've come here, pretty much, right?
Mhm.
So I could say, sasuga. 来たよね。さすが来たよね。So here, this 来た we can put in the character. 来たよね。上司 oops. Yeah, just like Josh. Anyway, that's fine. Just for now. But you can even go Sasuga Joshu. Like that. Like just put the person's name. Sasuga Mini, or whatever.
What is Josh?
It's his name, Josh.
Oh,
Joshua.
Josh. Japanese? Oh.
Yeah, I'm just. Actually, it would probably be more like going to katakana and not full width. We'll go half. Actually, no, full width is fine. And go. It would probably actually be Joshu, like that, probably.
Yeah.
That's probably how it would actually be
Yeah.
spelled in Japanese. Joshu.
Actually.
Or if you want to add the at the end. Oops, sorry. The Joshua. Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mini, you would probably just use the characters because you actually have characters. But if you don't know the characters, then it would be min. I guess you could go like that. I guess min e probably. Min e. Right. Okay. So what's some other adjectives I can think of? So last time I mentioned mazui, and mazui I also wanted to say it's not just disgusting, and although in the video I kind of make a small note of this, I could explain a bit more here. Like, it also means like inappropriate. It can also mean like, ooh, that's not the right thing to do in that situation. Like that didn't fit that situation. You would say mazui. Even though originally it's meaning disgusting or not delicious, in this case it could mean mazui, yeah. In this case it could mean that's not the right situation. That's not how you're supposed to handle that situation. It's not the right thing to do. Like,
So in
let's
other
say
words, every time I look at someone's program, I should be just having that on record. Mazui, mazui, mazui.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
hey, there's some teacher and then they say,
Yeah, you could say that, but it would be more like what Josh was saying. I think he is closer to it. Because I guess because if you hate a teacher, it might not be because the teacher is wrong. It just might be because the teacher is strict or something, right?
It's more like, so in our course, we do programming and I'm very good at it. So people keep asking me, could I help them with their program? And then I look at their code and it's just like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. What were you thinking there? That's wrong, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You're gonna need alcohol.
Exactly. Or let's say you go into an interview and you don't tuck in your shirt. And it was a very formal dress code. Like everyone's expecting you to be very formal in that interview for some reason, and you don't
Or
tuck in
just
your
even
shirt.
in that company, they would expect you to be formal for the interview.
Or in that company, yeah, and you don't tuck in your shirt. It's all out and hanging out your. That's mazui. That's like that's like a good example of how it would be used, right? Like you get invited to a Japanese person's house. This is really part of their culture, you should be taking off your shoes at the front and putting on, usually they have slippers for you or something, or you at least take off your shoes, and they have like a usually, most Japanese homes will have a little area at the front, right after the door.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like separated, you know, like with some height there, just for your shoes or whatever you're wearing. And if you don't take them off and you just start stepping into their house, that's mazui, like that's inappropriate to them, to their culture. So that's the idea. Let's think of some other words. Yeah, that's a good one. Hen. Hentai is not an adjective. Hentai is a noun. So hen means strange or weird. Yeah, hen, like it's a straight, and this kind of adjective is unlike a lot of the adjectives we covered. It's not an e adjective. So you know, like in previous lessons, I had oishi and e and kanashi and words like that. But this isn't that kind of adjective. This is a na adjective, which also exists. So the main kinds you'll find are the e adjectives, like sugoi or erai, right? You have the e at the end here.
Yeah.
But this is a na adjective. So when you want to say that something is hen, and you're not going to use the e, you're gonna use the na. So you'd say like henna hito. Henna hito. So like this is a weird person. This is a weird, makes me feel funny. Like, you know, let's say some like guy starts to come in and take pictures of like he's got like his like mobile camera and he's walking beside a girl with a short skirt.
So he's hentai.
変な人だね。変な人だね。変な人だね. And that's of course saying in casual. 変な人. But this is very interesting because this same character, we can move on. This same character is used in other words like kawaru. Kawaru, and this is a verb, and it means to change. Kawaru, and it's the same exact character here. It's also used for other. See, another thing about like I haven't gotten too much into verbs. We've been mainly doing adjectives, but there's two kinds of verbs basically that you'll find. Well, not just more than this. There's more than two kinds of verbs. There's many kinds of verbs, but ones that you'll often see are the ones that end in ru, like this, and you'll have ones that are like kanji, and then you add suru to it. Suru is like a main verb for to do, and I covered it, and that's probably going to be in a later video, like not my first video, but maybe my second video or something. Suru is to do, and the another way of saying kawaru, which just means to change, is henko suru. Henko suru. It means to change. I can confirm that just to make sure I'm on point here. I don't know if you have to write. No, you don't have to write suru here. You just write henko. Yeah. Change, modification, alteration. Yeah. So henko. Henko. And when so henko on its own is just a noun of change, but if you say henko suru, you're turning that noun into a verb. So, but these all use this character hen, just like the word you mentioned, hentai. Oops. Hentai also uses hen. And this tai, what is it? This is the character for karada. Karada, which literally means body. Karada, body. So when you have strange or different or changing, I suppose you could say, body. So strange. He's a strange body. hentai. He's perverted is what it means.
How to translate the transformer?
Tai. So the karada turns into tai because it's onyomi.
How to transformer? 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 Transformer?
Translate?
Transformer? How to say
Transformer.
in Japanese?
Transformer?
Yeah, transformer.
Transformer?
And
No, I think what they usually say is I think they basically use Japanese English, and I think it's probably going to be. You don't have to quote me on this, but giant robot. I think that's probably what they would say. I'm pretty. That sounds like the kind of thing they would say. Giant robot.
It's at least pretty straightforward. Giant roboto.
Giant robot. Or maybe it depends, but everyone knows the easiest way to say it, that concept, is just use the brand name of Gundam.
Gundam. I like Gundam.
Gundam. Just say Gundam and they'll know what you're talking about. You don't have to actually say some specific word. Just say that brand, Gundam. Everybody knows it in Japan pretty much. Especially guys. Most guys will know it. Like some females might say they're not very interested in that stuff, but because they don't want to be called otaku. You know, otaku. This is not.
Oh, I think many of Japanese guys in all around the continent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have like big figures of it in like
Yeah.
Tokyo.
It's
They
a
have a
famous
nice one.
zoo in the Taichung. I don't know how to say it.
Not Tokyo, right?
Yeah, not Tokyo.
And anyway, if we can look that up later, that's interesting though. Oh yeah, so another. This was the thing I really wanted to bring up, which is very interesting, which is, you can sometimes use. I guess they become adverb. It's because they're adverbs. You can use certain verbs like adjectives, and I suppose those would be adverbs. So, 変わっている. It's the present active form of active present, I guess. Active present form of change. The verb 変わる. 変わっている. But you can use it as an adjective. So I could literally say 変わっている人だね. And it's the same as kind of saying 変な人. But I mean, usually they won't really say 変わっている人because it's kind of long. And they'll use actually the past tense instead, and they'll say 変わった人だね. 変わった人だね. And actually it's really good to know this kind of grammar. 変わった人だね.
変わった人だね.
変わった人だね. You can even say it more politely or more at a distance. 変わった人ですね.
So there's no difference, just short no.
Yeah, it's just politeness. So des is more polite. Usually if it's longer, it's more polite. Usually. It's not an absolute rule, but it's most of the time it's true. 変わった人だね. And interesting thing about this kind of grammar is you're going to use a lot of this kind of grammar is ta ne, like ta, and then you're going to have something. その人は変わった方 変わった方がいいと思う. Okay. その人は変わった方 Oops, I'm going to keep this Hiragana. 変わった方がいいと思う. That sono is that. Hito is person, as I mentioned before. Like we had in a previous one, it was sono hito wa ii desu ne, or something like that. And it's the same kind of example. Sono hito wa 変わった方がいい. Now this is actually interesting, this た方がいい part, or た方が Now this ta is just for past. If something happened in the past, it's usually it has this like little tsu here, which is just a space, no sound, like it's just a beat. Kawatta hogai. Okay, kawatta hogai, and this ho is like this character ho means like form or way. So and then ga is going to be the particle, and then here you're going to throw in a an adjective of some kind. So here, what does this mean? It means I think that person is better off changing. I think that person. In this case, you're not saying this person is different or is changing. You're saying I think this person should change. Yeah. Whenever you have this whole ga, it's like should. And this to omo at the end is I think so. To omo. And it can change into, because this is the regular form, it can change into polite by making it imasu instead of u at the end. So, その人は変わった方がいいと思います. That's a polite way of saying it. その人は変わった方がいいと思います. 変わった方がいい literally means would be good to change. It would be good to change. と思います is I think so. その人は is that person. Wa here is just a particle of the subject, the main subject of the sentence. その人は変わった方がいいと思います. と思います is just used to say I think so. Like whenever you say des, it's like you're saying it is. But if you say to omoimasu, to is also a particle, by the way. To omoimasu, you're saying that's what I think. To is often used as a particle for like when you're either thinking something, feeling something, or saying something. So if you want to say, I remember having this question a lot when I was starting Japanese. How do I say that someone said something? So you use to in that case. So, and you can also use it. I showed it in a previous class. I showed it in a previous class. What's it called? A way of saying, introducing yourself, and it was. And I'll write it again because it's pretty good. You should probably know it. Whatever your name is. So I'll put my name in this case. Sharifu to moshimasu. Okay, that's all in hiragana. Here I could do it in what would probably be proper Japanese. Sharifu. That's katakana. To, that's the particle. Moshimasu. There's the character there. Sharifu to moshimasu. So you just put your name there at the beginning? It means I'm called this.
My name is Sharifu.
Yes. Mini to moshimasu, you would say, right? Joshua to moshimasu. Joshua to moshimasu, right? You can even add at the beginning. It's not necessarily because if someone's asking you, you don't have to say it. But you could put at the beginning, watashi wa. Yeah. Watashi wa sharifu to moshimasu. You can even be very simple. Watashi wa sharifu desu. Watashi wa sharifu desu. So, but you could also, if you're talking, let's say, teaching somebody a word, and you're saying like, it's called such and such. In that case, you would use to imasu or to yu, which is over here. Over here, to imasu. And if we have the character in there, to yu, to imasu. So this is the polite form, to imasu. So let's say 動物は猫と言います。動物 動物 sorry guys. Well, I didn't get a lot of sleep. 動物は猫と言います。
What's the to used for?
So the to is literally means like with, or it also can be used kind of like and. But it's like either used as with, or it's used as this kind of grammatical particle where it's kind of, I don't know if there's really an English equivalent. So it's like in the case of when you're saying that such and such said this, or this is called this, you will use to. Or if I feel this, or I think this, or such and such a person said that. Yeah, it's a with. It's being used as to mean with in multiple ways, basically. You can look at it as meaning with. Like if you want to say, I went with him to the movies, 彼と一緒. Oh, not 一緒, sorry, 一緒. 一緒, yeah. 一緒に映画を見に行きます. I'm going to the movies with him. So in this case, 彼 is him. と is with. 一緒 is together. に is towards or in. But in this case, it's, I guess, towards. To, I guess, in this case. 映画 means movie. Oh, sorry, I should just put these as hiragana instead. 一緒に映画を O is the particle for of, or not necessarily of, but using, or about. About is what it is. About. 映画を見. In this case, like I showed in a previous class, you can take a verb and turn it into I guess it becomes a noun in this case, a kind of noun based on a verb-like conjugation. The example I used and you'll see in the video is tanoshimi. The adjective is tanoshi. If you turn that into a verb, it's tanoshimeru. And or tanoshimimasu. Means it's. The thing is about that conjugation is, you'll hear if it's like, for example, with tanoshimeru. Tanoshimeru means you're making it fun, If it's tanoshimi, it's just fun, almost like as a noun. And if it's tanoshi, it's adjective, it's fun. If you go tanoshimimasu, it's generally the act of having fun. If you're saying tanoshimimasu, it means you're going to put an effort into having fun. And a lot of things conjugate this way. So anyway, miru, the word miru means to see. To see. And in this case, it just becomes mi. So it just means like the action of seeing, similar how tanoshi becomes tanoshimi. Yeah. It's usually used in a set, like in a set form, like as it is up here, mi ni, and then whatever. So in this case, it's mi ni ikimasu. Mi ni ikimasu. 彼と一緒に映画を見に行きます. And this is like a full-on good Japanese sentence as an example of how Japanese is structured right here. The proper way, at least. So yes, I mean, there's also messed up Japanese, but this is the proper way. 彼と一緒に映画を見に行きます. And this can be conjugated into different ways. 行っています. 行っています means I'm going there. 行っています. And you know, very often what you'll hear is a combination of two verbs in a set phrase. It'll be like a very common one for when you're going somewhere, especially if you're referring to where you're going to come back to. Let's say I'm going to the movie and I'm speaking from home, and obviously I'm going to be back home eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say, 行ってきます. Ittekimasu. And actually, that's a very important phrase. Ittekimasu. In previous lessons, I showed yoroshiku onegai shimasu. You say it like at the end of the letter. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu or onegai shimasu. I'm asking a favor. Another set phrase that's used a lot is ittekimasu. Means I'm going and coming back. Literally means I'm going and coming back, but it's kind of used like I'm going now. See you. You know, I'm going now. Ittekimasu. I'm going and coming. Itte, iku means to go. Kimasu, kuru, which is similar to the suru verb in its structure. Suru means to do, and kuru means to come. So ittekimasu is a combination of iku, which is to go, and kuru, which is to come. So it's literally going and coming. So I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to come back. Itte kuru. Itte kuru. And you can do this kind of combination of verbs at some point, at different reasons. Okay, well, that gets you a little bit of a starting on doing that stuff. So another adjective I wanted to bring up was subarashi. Have you ever heard that before?
I don't know what to mean.
Have you heard that before, Josh?
No.
Subarashi means like wonderful,
Oh.
splendid.
Subarashi.
Subarashi. It's wonderful.
And I.
Erai is see, erai is usually referring to a person.
Cousin. Oh.
Yeah, whereas subarashi could be referring to somebody's work. It could be referring to something like that's not a person. Like let's say the Niagara Falls are wonderful, a wonderful sight. Subarashi miryoku desu ne.
Different between the this and the score.
Sorry?
What different is the score? Score.
Sugoi.
Ah.
No, it's pretty similar to sugoi. It's pretty similar to sugoi, but it isn't. I guess it's just another. It has a little bit of a different nuance to it, I guess. Sugoi is like amazing. Subarashi is more like wonderful. You know, it's that's kind of how I feel when I hear it in context. Subarashi. Then there's kind of like sort of helper, I guess similar to words like very or not very much. There are also words like that. So like words like totemo. Totemo, it's not, let's say, an adjective in itself, but it kind of increases or decreases the meaning of adjectives, like we do with the words like very or not very much. So totemo means very. So if let's say we added totemo subarashi, I'm not just saying it's wonderful. I'm saying it's very wonderful or it's so wonderful. Totemo subarashi. Totemo. Or if you say the opposite, amari subarashiku nai. Subarashiku nai. And I showed it in previous class as well. This ku, this e turns into a ku, and then you add a nai to make it negative. So that's another way that ku can be used as a grammar tool. So amari subarashiku nai. It's not that wonderful. Amari is kind of meaning not very much, and you're probably going to end the sentence with nai at the end because it's negative, right? Amari subarashiku nai. Amari oishiku nai. oishikunai. It's not that delicious. Amari oishikunai. And in like spoken language, when someone's like sort of speaking like in a, let's say, a dialect or just in more casually, you'll come out with anmari oishikunai. Anmari na? You know, not really, you know, it's not anmari oishikunai na. It's kind of like a little bit the way an older person might speak. Anmari oishikunai na. Amari oishikunai na. Amari oishikunai ne. Amari oishikunai yo ne. Yeah. Amari yoshikunai yo. It's not. I'm just to let you know. Actually, it's not that good. Chinamini, this is a good one. Chinamini, amari oishikunai yo. Chinamini means literally means like for your information. Chinamini, amari oishikunai ne. Amari yoshikunai yo ne. You could change this here, like have a little bit of a different meaning. Tonikaku. These are all kind of helper words. Tonikaku. Anyway. Tonikaku. Like let's say I just made a big explanation about its flavor and its taste, how it didn't satisfy me that much. Tonikaku. Anyway. My point is, amari oishikunai yo ne. And instead of tonikaku in this case, even maybe a better word is tsumari. Tsumari is like...
in other words?
Yes, in other words, or in a word.
So in a word, don't go there, basically?
So, tsumari, ikanai de. Ikanai de. Or sorry, ikanakatta. Hogai. Kind of like what I was showing earlier, right? This is interesting. I want to see something. Ikanakatta hogai. So actually interesting thing about this. Ikanakatta hogai. It could have two meanings. But I guess in this context it wouldn't matter. But tsumari ikanakatta hogai has literally two meanings and both could literally be right. You could literally say two things at the same time and double entendre makes sense in this case. Tsumari ikanakatta hogai could mean, in a word, I shouldn't have went. Or it could mean, in a word, I suggest not to go there. Literally, you could say both those sentences with just this one exact same thing. It says exactly those two things and they're both right. That's very interesting about Japanese. I find that you can do that in English, but it's not as easy to do it sometimes as in Japanese. So there are some interesting things about learning other languages like that. Okay. So another one that's, since we're all along the lines of sugoi and subarashi and sasuga and all those kind of words, is, what's it called? Suteki. Suteki. You've heard that one? Suteki. Suteki means like, oh man, think of the English word. It's like, it's more like a particular kind of positive. It's also positive. It means like really nice, like remarkable or almost, or like, yeah, like kind of like, oh, that's almost ideal almost. It doesn't literally mean ideal though. Ideal is something else. But it's like, oh, it's kind of like wonderful. So it's actually very similar to subarashi. It's very similar to subarashi, right? Subarashi. And so it's sticky. And this one is not an E. It's not an E. So no, that's not right. It would be sticky na. Sticky na hito. Sticky na hito. Oh, that's a wonderful person. That's a really nice person. Sticky na hito. Sokamo. Superman. Yeah. Sticky na hito is like almost like, oh yeah, that's the kind of person, you know, I like, or that's the ideal kind of person, you know. Sticky na hito. Yeah, it is kind of used like something ideal or wonderful, something like that. And if you want to literally say ideal, though, it's another word. But this doesn't necessarily used as much on people, but just generally ideal. Ideal is riso. Riso. That's what that is. Riso. And riso.
Riso.
In a previous lesson I showed this suffix. It's teki. Teki means like, and it's like, or ly. In English, you put li at the end to change to like. It means to like. So wait, let me just write this teki here. Teki na hito, so that you have that in hiragana, and then here you got riso. Riso teki. Riso teki. So riso is ideal, teki is like. So if you're saying that something is ideal, you would say riso teki. And then teki also uses, even though it's a suffix, it uses also the na particle with it because you use it often as adjectives, or almost always as adjectives. So riso teki na jokyo, I guess you could write. Jokyo da. So, riso teki na jokyo da. So, jokyo means situation. Situation. So, riso teki means ideal. Jokyo means situation. So, this means this is an ideal situation. Riso teki na jokyo da. Or if you want to be more polite, riso teki na jokyo desu. Riso teki na jokyo desu. Jokyo desu. Riso teki na jokyo desu. So that's another kind of adjective you'll find. You'll have like a noun like riso, and then you'll have this teki na added to it. I mean, it's like that, and therefore it becomes an adjective. Riso teki na.
Riso teki na.
Jokyo.
Jokyo
Desu.
desu.
Mm.
Or desu.
Desu, yeah. Riso teki na jokyo desu. That's an ideal situation. Yeah. I could also change here another word. Interesting word, jotai. Jotai can also mean situation, but it can also mean condition. And this could also be used on a person, like their condition, like let's say their health condition or how they're feeling. A good phrase, which I didn't mention, is that I should have as a basic phrase is when you meet someone, I think we already maybe covered, but in the morning, like when I came in here, I said, "Ohayo," right? Ohayo, Ohayo, which is just short for Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Yeah. Ohayo gozaimasu. And that's for good morning.
Yeah.
Ohayo gozaimasu. Good day or hello could be so in the middle of the day after it's around from this time. Now it's 10:50. So around from this time until I guess later afternoon, you wouldn't be saying Ohayo as much. You'd be saying konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. And the thing is about Ohayo, which is interesting, Ohayo can also be used even like a later time of the day. Sometimes it's used for, let's say you're going to work and your workmate comes in, or you go into work, your workmate will say to you, Ohayo, even if it's not early at all in the day. It could be like 7 at night, but your shift starts at 7 at night. So because your shift starts then, when you get there, it's just very...
It's essentially you are early. It's just early for your day.
Yes, exactly. So in the work context, even if it's later in the day and you're showing up, it's like, like you've made it, it's the beginning of your day, and therefore it's early, therefore it's like your morning in a sense.
Yeah, like I worked overnight shifts for almost 6 months, and it was kind of like that, where it ended up the day stopped being the day, it became my night. My night became my day, so my evening there. So your evening was my morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why they'll use it in that case as well. Ohio. And usually in that case, it's not going to be gozaimasu because it's going to be your workmate. You're at the same level. You're more on a casual level. Mostly they're just going to say Ohio, probably. And at the end of the workday, interestingly enough, you would say, otsukare-sama, otsukare-sama, or otsukare-sama desu. Otsukare-sama desu. Tsukare is coming from the word tsukareru, tsukareru, which means to tire. Tsukareru, like as in fatigued or tired. Tsukareru. So at the end of your workday, they have the o, which I mentioned earlier. You would use often to refer to someone else. Otsukare. Sometimes it's even shortened to just otsukare. I mean, that's not very polite anymore, but usually at least it's otsukare-sama. Otsukare-sama means like you're tired, and it's not literally, but it's in that situation being used as you've done a good job. You know, it's the end of your day. You know, it's time for you to head home type feeling. You know, otsukare-sama, otsukare-sama deshita. So as I said earlier, when you put something into the past, it has this ta at the end, right? So des, when it's converted into past form, des is just regular, like a general form, not regular, but general form, or general, like it could be present or future. But deshita is past. If it was da, it's da. Yeah, see, you don't pronounce this tsu here. This tsu, you don't pronounce it. You don't pronounce it. It's a small tsu, and it's just silent. It means that there's a beat there. So you don't say, in this case, you wouldn't say, otsukare-sama datta. That sounds like some people who are Chinese or something, when they learn Japanese, they'll have that sort of, they'll make that mistake in the pronunciation. They'll say, otsukare-sama datta. It'll sound like that, and that's a mistake. In that case, they wouldn't get confused because it's hard to misinterpret datta. But in this case, but in other cases, if you don't have that little space there, they'll misunderstand it completely. So otsukare-sama datta. So you see, there's that little space. Otsukare-sama datta. But you would never say otsukare-sama datta. This is just an example because whenever you have sama here, it's kind of polite. Sama is like you're always referring to someone in a high way, like in a very polite, nice way. Like for example, if you were going to mention a god or a Buddha, it's always going to have sama. Or like king is o-sama, like you said, o-sama. O-sama. That's not the right o. It's a different o. Actually, that's why. It's because it's o-u-sama. Yeah, there you go. O-sama. That's the character, the Chinese character for the kanji for sama. Is this?
So o-sama, would that refer to specifically king, or would it be more loose, as in like lord or shogun?
Literally means like king. Literally means like king. I guess you could probably use it more figuratively, like the king of such and such. Like, I don't know. Like, for example, I worked at a magazine, table tennis magazine, and it's literally called Takyu Okoku. And so you notice the same character here for king. Okoku, this is the character for country. Koku or kuni. Kuni or koku. Okay. So Okoku means kingdom. And takyu, which you might know you might know what that means. It means ping pong. Just to get you in the know, this This means like it's a word, one of the characters for table, and this is one of the characters for ball, basically.
Table ball.
So it's like table ball. Yeah, table ball. So Takkyo Koku is translates to world table tennis, but it's actually literally it means table tennis kingdom or kingdom of table tennis. So you can use like king in like different ways. Like I'll see it on some products. Like this is just an example that doesn't actually exist. But like for example, you could have like let's say an ice cream product that says what's it call it? Ice no Osama, for instance. Just as in like a fake example that I'm making up here.
Or device.
Ice is just short for ice cream.
Mm.
They usually use just ice, and they'll figure you mean ice cream. Because usually for ice, actual just ice, they're gonna say kori, which means ice in Japanese, kori. But for ice cream, they'll usually start because saying ice cream all the time is kind of long, and Japanese people like to shorten words or abbreviate them a lot. So the ice cream becomes just ice because they have the word kori anyway for ice. So ice no Osama, for example, could literally be the name of a brand of ice cream. King of ice cream. Ice no Osama. Or it could be like a slogan or a quote. We're known as the kings of ice cream.
So trademark tree.
I see no all.
Huh?
I see no all. Not summer.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
What do you mean?
That's the one. Just this. What's the meaning?
What does it mean?
Just this.
Just this character means king, right? It just means king.
So the must to be summer.
Usually yes.
Yeah.
I would say yes. Because it's kind of like set as well. It's kind of like kami-sama, which literally means God.
Just say kami.
Yeah, you could just say kami, and you hear that sometimes. Maybe with kami-sama you'll hear it more. But you don't really hear much just oh.
Oh.
And even with kami, for example, you're usually going to hear kami-sama. But yeah, you can hear sometimes just kami. But usually we hear kami-sama.
Kami no say that.
And like,
Kami no say that.
like let's say it's, kami no sekai. So in that case, we're kami no sekai, the world of the gods. So kami no sekai, sekai. Sekai means world. Actually, it's a very good word to know. Kami no sekai. So in this case, it's just being used as a verb. It's not saying like, or not. Sorry, it's not. It's actually being used as a noun that is using. It's an adjective, but using a noun. But you use the no here to mean of. So of this noun becomes an adjective in this case, in a sense. So kami no is like godly or of the gods, right? Kami no sekai. Sekai means world. It's a good word to know. Kami no sekai. But I'm not referring to a god in particular or to the gods in particular. I'm referring to their world. So I don't have to say kami-sama.
Yeah.
I guess you could technically say kami-sama no sekai, but that's very long. That's very long. It sounds awkward, so it doesn't really roll off the tongue. This kami no sekai
Would
is
that Kami-sama no sekai, sekai, would that refer to specifically more something like the land of this god rather than God overall?
kami no sekai. I mean, if you say kami no sekai, it could either mean the land of God. It could mean the land of God, or it could mean the land of the gods.
But kami-sama.
But if you want to say specific, you're gonna maybe say you're gonna refer to something just to that god. So you would probably maybe say kono kami, sono kami. So you remember? I don't know if I covered that. No, I don't think I did. But there is. I think I did. I have to check the references, or maybe it was a class I didn't record. As kono sono and ano. These
Yeah.
basically mean
This,
yes, this
that.
exactly. Switch to alphanumeric or whatever it's called here. Yeah, alphanumeric. This, that, and the other. And in the case when you're using no, it means you're referring to a specific one. Well, either way, you're referring to one, but you can use it as of. So if I'm saying this one, you're gonna say kono yatsu or whatever. Yatsu is like just means thing. Kono, sono, and ano. And also similar, you have kore. Sorry, let's write that in hiragana. You have kore, sore, and are. Sometimes you'll hear are like are, like what? Are? But it means the same thing. It literally means this, that, and the other. Kore, sore, are. It's just used in a different way. So kore, you could just be like kore, like you're just saying this, like you don't have to say anything else. Like if you're asking a question, which one is it? Dore desu ka? Dore is like, so yeah, that's another interesting one. So dore and dono. Dono is like when you're asking which, like which one. Dono. And it's similar to the word doko. Doko, which means where. So a lot of these questions start with do. Right, so I wanted to say, kono kami-sama no sekai. So then we're specifically referring to that God's world, right? So we're saying this God's world. Kono kami-sama no sekai. Right?
Yeah.
You can use another word since we're talking about the heavens or whatever, or you have some maybe Buddhist influence. You might have gokuraku. This is an interesting word, right? You have,
Oh, yeah.
you understand it?
Yeah, I understand.
This gokuraku, it means paradise, like a Buddhist paradise, kind of like a heavens in the Eastern style. Yeah. So kono kami-sama no gokuraku, this God's paradise. Kono Bukkyo no gokuraku, this Buddhist paradise. Bukkyo is Buddhist. Kono Bukkyo no gokuraku. Yeah.
What is it?
Bukkyo means Buddhist. Buddhist. This kyo here is used for religions, like shukyo. Shukyo is religion. Shukyo. See, same character here, shukyo. And this character here, here is, or butsu on its own. Butsu means Buddha. So Buddha religion means Buddhist. Kono Bukkyo no gokuraku. Gokuraku is paradise. This Buddhist paradise. Kono Bukkyo no gokuraku. An old man in Japan, they make this joke. An old man as like they call it ji-chan. Ji-chan. Literally, it's actually so technically like the proper way to say it is oji-san. Oji-san. But you know, to say it in a sort of endearing way, it could be oji-chan, and then even shorten to just ji-chan. Like a little kid talking about her grandfather with ji-chan, ji-chan, you know? Ji-chan no gokuraku wa onsen desu yo ne. So onsen, which I mentioned earlier, right at the beginning, is Yeah, so I was just saying, Ji-chan no gokuraku wa onsen desu yo ne. So that's the old man's paradise, old man Ji-chan.
Yeah.
No, so of gokuraku, paradise. Wa is the subject. Onsen means hot spring. Desu yo ne. So yeah, so these kono, sono, ano, dono, kore, sore, are, dono, and you can say koko, soko, asoko, and doko. So kono, sono, ano, dono. Dono is which. Dono gokuraku desu ka? So ka is used in questions. I think I showed that before. Dono is which, like which one are you referring to? Dono gokuraku desu ka? Which paradise are you talking about? And hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's up?
Oh, you guys made it.
Yeah, we got lost. And yeah. No, I'm gonna communicate the time. I just wanted to go with me on the first day. We had terrible time.
That's okay.
Hello.
Nice to see you guys.
Yay. We're here.
You're here. You made it. So yeah, so Koko is here, Soko is there, and Asoko is, I guess you could say, the other place, or the other, around the corner kind of idea, you know, Asoko. And then Doko is where? Doko. And here, sorry, it's not dono, it's dore. So kore, sore, are, dore. So kore is this, sore is that, are is the other, and dore is which. Dore is used which, like if they have like multiple items, and then you're asking which one. Dore, which one? Let's say you have these 4 items here. Dore, right? But if you wanted to if you just had 2 items, just 2 items, it becomes dochi. 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 So dochi. And this little tsu, because you guys weren't here, I'll just let you know. This little tsu is, it means it's just a space, like a pause.
Oh, okay.
Dochi. This is the character for do, and this one for chi in hiragana. Dochi. Here, let's put this back on. So it's a good thing to remember probably early on, because I used to get this confused. When you say dore desu ka, it always has to be at least 3. There has to be at least 3 items there before you just say dore desu ka.
And choose for 2 items, right?
And then yeah, but if there's only 2 items, you don't say dore, you say dochi.
So it's kind of the difference between a fork in the path and having just multiple things to choose from.
Exactly. The difference between a 2-prong and multiples, yeah.
So the character on the right is a modifier for numbers, right? For objects, English number on the top, like the one.
This one?
No, that. Yeah, that one.
This
Yeah,
one?
That's a modifier for numbers, right? Or is this for questions?
It's not. It's not usually used as a modifier for numbers, but what it is, you can have something that's similar. So that maybe that's what you're getting confused with. There's re, which can be used as a sort of marker for like volume. Or I guess you can also use it as an example, like reibun. In this case, re is this one here. Reibun. So yeah, you can use it like that, like as an example. Like if you had the same exact character would show up in the word tatoeba, means for example. Tatoeba, for example. Tatoeba, it's the same exact character shows up as the re. It's a kind of an extension. It's not just a re, but re. Rebun. Rebun. So obviously this character re means example. And bun or hun means like a portion. So rebun means like a particular example. Kono rebun. Tatoeba could mean example, or it could mean for example. You can use it in either way. Tatoeba, so for example, or you could just say tatoe, example. Okay. So yeah, you can also use if you're for some reason you don't know if it's going to be two or more, you have no idea. I would just suggest using dono. Say dono mono, but the thing with dono is you can't just say dono desu ka. You can't just say that.
I was about to say that myself.
Yeah, you can't say dono desu ka. You have to say dono mono desu ka or dono yes. You can even say, see with dono, you can even use, like I showed earlier, adjectives. A lot of adjectives, like I mentioned, like oishii ends with e, but there's also a lot of adjectives that end with na, like steki, which I showed earlier. It means wonderful or ideal.
Oishi is like delicious, right?
Yes, oishii is delicious. And so steki, like steki na, the na is instead of the e, is being used for certain adjectives. So oishii, it's e at the end. But for steki, you use na. And you use it before you're going to explain what is such. Like, steki na hito. Hito is person. Steki na.
Wonderful person.
Yeah.
Why do you use different adjectives for that? And do they both do the same thing? Do they both like imply they're more of or accentuate the same thing? Like,
It just depends on which adjective you're using. Certain adjectives are just, they use the e sound, and some ones use na. It just depends on the particular adjective you're going to use.
is there a trend between them and how they differentiate, or is it just like based on?
It's kind of, you just have to kind of know, I guess. But there are some times where you could use either no or na. So if you want to say not just which one is it, or you would say like what kind of thing is it? You would say donna, donna. Donna mono. Mono means thing. In this case, there's two different meanings for mono. And if it's this character, it means like a person type thing. And if it's this, it means like just an object, or you could even use, I guess, on an animal. Donna mono desu ka? What? So this is probably the most general mono that you would use. You can even just go in hiragana. Donna mono desu ka? Donna mono desu ka? But either way, if you're going to use dono or donna, dono means which, and donna means what kind. You're going to need some kind of word that comes after it, like mono, thing, or class of something, like donna doubutsu desu ka? Say, donna doubutsu desu ka? Doubutsu means animal. Yeah, exactly. Donna doubutsu desu ka means what kind of animal is it? Donna doubutsu desu ka? Or if you say dono doubutsu desu ka? This can work whether it's two or more. It doesn't matter. It's dono, but you have to say doubutsu in this case. You can't say dono desu ka. You have to say dono doubutsu or whatever the subject is. Okay. So, yeah. Oops. Let's turn this thing off. So yeah, I can I guess review what we went over today with you guys. So yeah, so we did the sugoi. Sugoi. Amazing. That's what that means. And I was showing some examples of using it. Sugoku wa nai kedo manzoku dekimasu ne. So this ku, this e becomes ku here because it's getting conjugated. Wa is the subject. Nai means not. So sugoku wa nai. So I'm conjugating sugoi, which means amazing, into it's not amazing. And this wa, I don't have to use it. Like I could just say sugoku nai, which would also mean not amazing. But if I have this wa here, it's like I'm going to compare it with something usually. Or I'm saying it's not amazing, and then I'm going to say but something something. I'm going to usually have a wa here. Sugoku wa nai kedo. Kedo means but. Okay. Sugoku wa nai kedo. Manzoku means satisfied, satisfaction. Manzoku dekimasu. Dekimasu means able to do. I didn't say that earlier, but dekimasu means able to do. And it's coming from the verb dekiru. Just is conjugated into a polite form, so it becomes dekimasu. All the root verbs, they become mas once they go from regular form, so not necessarily polite, casual, your buddy, you're talking to your buddy, to more polite, someone you don't know as well, someone you're trying to keep a distance from, or someone you're trying to be polite to. Dekimasu, manzoku dekimasu ne. I'm able to be satisfied. But it's satisfactory, is another way of saying this. Yeah. So, sugoku wa nai kedo, it's not amazing, but manzoku dekimasu ne. Manzoku dekimasu means you can get satisfaction from it. It is satisfactory. Ne means, it's like in Canadian English, a. Yeah. Like, you know, or isn't it? You know? So, sugoku wa nai kedo, manzoku dekimasu ne. So that was an example of using sugoi. 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 I guess I can stop Camtasia.